Okay, well, today is the day that I'm going to test the Gilson's cutting capabilities. We moved the trampoline and there's the spot underneath the big circle that's quite long, and we got to trim it up. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing it sans hood, topless if you will, because that's still in the process there of getting painted. But, well, I want to try it out, see how it cuts. Well, there's no arguing that in terms of ease of use, this Gilson, being a hydrostatic drive, definitely your feet sit there like idiots and your hands have to do all the work. So you not only have to steer, but you also are controlling your throttle speed, your direction of travel, you're controlling the lift on the cutting deck, and you're controlling the PTO. Your feet do nothing. It's not easy to operate. I didn't make things any easier by having the seat not bolted down, but that's a bit further down the road still. Cutting performance, I sort of thought might be the case. Just looking at the design of the deck, it does kind of leave little paths between the blades that don't get cut, so you have to make multiple passes. But what it does cut, it seemed to cut well, and I mean, it is pretty fun. It's fun to use an old tractor to do work that it hasn't done in many years. Next steps for this machine are basically get the hood painted and reinstalled. I do want to put lights on it and attach that seat in some fashion. That's going to require some fabrication, but shouldn't be too bad. And then it should be good to go for it. Well, good evening. It's early-ish June as I'm recording this, so you'll see it a little bit later, I suppose. But things are looking more and more like they might be changing up just a little bit for Shopcat Industries. We've decided that we're going to move off the acreage and move back into town, which it's not a big town, but it's obviously got a lot more services than we have out here. Just acreages. I love it out here, but it is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. If I had no other hobbies and the acreage was my hobby, but then why do you live on an acreage if you can't have cool stuff? So ultimately, I've been wanting to chew through some projects anyway and get things stripped down and a little bit more under control, because this pile behind me was getting just a little out of hand. I've already tidied it up some, but it was getting pretty crazy, and that doesn't even count the stuff that's outside. So anyway, over the next little while, we're kind of aiming to list maybe in the fall. So I've got to get some of this stuff out of here so the place doesn't look like a junkyard. That's not appealing to most buyers, apparently. I'm going to try and chew through some projects, bring in a little cash, because depending on what space we move into, I don't know what kind of opportunity I'll have to generate revenue towards projects, and what those projects will look like may have to be, you know, if it doesn't load into the back of the Jeep, then it doesn't come here. I don't know. It's all very much up in the air. I guess we'll see. But in the meantime, I got lots to do. There it is. The Gilson hood there is in paint, so I want to get that done so that the Gilson can at least go outside without fear of the hood rusting up. To move. There's a few things that, like the jukebox and the Gilson, the Ford F-100. What was the other one? If Wild Turfy doesn't get done, like, you know, the small stuff, if it comes along and then moves after, it's not a big deal, but I need to get rid of some of the things that I'm less in love with and, you know, just get cracking on, I guess. So I'm going to sand the primer on this hood here and reprime it and throw some paint at it later and bolt it on, but it'll be interesting. So I hope you stick around for the ride. As for Old Gil's hood, well, perfection is not the name of the game. It's not the goal because it's just going to look weird. So I've basically just, I did straighten this grill out just a little bit, but I've basically just masked the decals, which are not exactly perfect either. Quick sand with, what was that, with 120 grit, just to smooth it out a bit. Some primer. I'm trying this Car Rep. It's a 2K epoxy primer. I guess it's 2-component and it mixes after you spray it, it says. I don't know. Seems to work pretty well. Bought this a long time ago, but Duplicolor, perfect match. Wimbledon white, which is a pretty good match for the factory color. And then we can bolt it on and it'll look better than the red did, which was kind of weird against the orange and white of the rest of the tractor. Well, that's one can in of Wimbledon white, and I think I'm going to need another can. Oh well. I've been working pretty hard trying to get ready for the impending move, trying to get projects done and get them out of here, and one of the first ones, well, it just took a major step ahead. Now, is the paint job on that hood any good? Nah, it's terrible. Is it a heck of a lot better than the red? Well, you tell me. I am so happy with that. It looks so much better. It's like a different tractor. It doesn't look new. I didn't want the hood to look new because it would be at odds with the rest of the tractor. My goal was to make it look like it had never been repainted. I didn't succeed in that. It's, I mean, there's a lot of scratches and stuff. The dents I don't mind, but there's a lot of scratches. But I'm no professional. So really, once the seat is secured, it's ready to move on to a new owner, which is bittersweet. I mean, I really love this machine. I'm just not going to have any use for it at the new location, likely, whatever that new location is. I'm not going to have a use for it. So I'll put the money to better use. So it's got to go. And there's some damage to the decals. If anyone feels like donating to the cause, the decals are available. They're about $80 US just for the hood and rear decals that say, you know, 15 horsepower, hydrostatic, power lift, whatever. I'm not going to do that. It'd be nice, but then I kind of feel like I have to do the dash decals and everything else, right? Because they're pretty much entirely gone. You can't see them at all. And how far am I going to go with this thing? And once the gigantic pile of stuff is gone, then I can bring other things in and get working on those. So one step at a time. But overall, super happy with that. I may or may not install right there lights on it. It's got the holes, it's got the wiring. It just needs to be, I need to buy some lights, mount them, and run a bit of wire. And I do need to put kind of a cable so that the hood doesn't just flop all the way open. But that's a detail for another day. So here we can see the factory seat mounting, and it was never very good. And
somebody made it worse with these riveted on plates. I know if I have metal that's cracking and weak and drilling it full of holes, it's not usually my first plan. So I'm gonna clean this up as best I can, make a bracket here for the new seat, and I'm not too concerned with maintaining originality at this point because it's so bad. Just need some functionality. So, see what I can do. That's a little better. Well, it's been raining like crazy outside for the better part of a week, which I guess will be good for the forest fires, but kind of makes it not so motivating to work on stuff. But today, nevertheless, is a big day. It's been 2-3 years in the making, and I'm excited. Gil has a seat. Finally, I can put it outside and not worry about getting a wet butt from sitting on wet foam, or that bolt that was sticking up. You know where? Let's see. Maiden run. Oh, that's like night and day. Had to make a bracket up for it, welded it on. It's not the weld the world wants, but it's the weld the world needs. I think this will be just fine. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep it in the litter box. Cheers.
Trees, broken roads, desert dust bowl sun, where the bill man will call you almost every week. Which bills to pay today, what's left in the fridge to eat. Where stars frame the night, born out of dreams, just close enough to give hope, but too